Man, Vegas must be know something I don't, Skip, because I don't really see it. But then again, they do have St. Nick. He said last week, we got away from our identity. And we know what Alabama's identity is. That is to dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. Now, they had great success running the ball last year, 221 yards, 6.5 yards a carry with both Scarborough and Harris. They're back. And I believe they will need to be equally as dominating running the football. That offensive line needs to be equally as dominating this year as they were last year running the football. I just need Jalen Hurts to be a little better throwing the football, Skip. I didn't see the jump in his progression of throwing the football that I had hoped to. And I think that's why Alabama didn't look like Alabama normally looks. They're not dominating like they once did on either side of the ball. Now, we know they're going to run the football. That's what Coach Saban believes in. He prides himself on being able to run the football, control the clock, minimize the quarterback putting the ball in harm's way. Hence, Jalen Hurts threw what? Two INTs. They had 8 total turnovers the entire season, which is tied for the FBS lead. Mobile quarterbacks, from what we've seen since Coach Saban has been at Alabama, has caused Alabama problems. If you go back to Cam Newton, the Tim Tebow's, Trevor Knight, that one night at the Sugar Bowl when he was at Oklahoma, Chad Kelly.
He doesn't qualify as mobile, but go ahead.
But he made some plays. Cardale Jones, it was, Zeke ran for 230, but it was Cardale Jones timely running first downs and being able to throw the ball from the pocket. So with all that being said, Alabama will get back to what Alabama does. They will shut down Clemson's run. They will force Kelly Bryant to beat them throwing the football. Now, Kelly Bryant played better than I thought. No, I don't think anybody thought Clemson would be back this year, given what they lost last year. Deshaun Watson, they had a wide receiver go in the top 10. Wayne Gallman left, so they had the tight end left. So they had a lot of vacancies to fill. They've done more than adequate job replacing those guys. I got a very, very close ball game like the previous two were. I'm going to take Alabama close late, 27-24.
Dabo's not going to take your phone calls, right?
I already get congratulated. I wish
you just burned that bridge around, didn't you?
No.
So, I am going Clemson because I'm going to say it one more time. Alabama does not belong in this football game.
Yeah, they do.
It does not belong in this football game. Ohio State should be playing Clemson tonight in the, what's it called? The Sugar Bowl.
Sugar Bowl.
And did you happen to notice what the Ohio State did to the Pac-12 champion USC the other night, Friday night?
What every other team has done to Pac-12 opponents.
24-7. It was domination. Have you noticed what the Big Ten has done in its bowl games? 7-0. Do you remember what I told you on that fateful day after these playoffs were announced, these pairings? I told you that the Big Ten was rated by most services the toughest conference in America, and the SEC was, according to most services, the 4th best. In that Ohio State played the 28th strongest schedule, toughest schedule, and that Alabama was way down at 56th toughest schedule. And I can just go on and on. I still can't figure out how Alabama got in this game after it allowed 168 yards rushing against its arch rival Auburn, and that came on the heels of barely surviving at Texas A&M and at Mississippi State. I watched all 3 of those games carefully. I just couldn't see Bam Bam Bama anymore. I'm sorry. That's just not the same team that it was last year or the year before.
In which of those games did Alabama give up 55 points on the road?
Who are we talking about? Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Well, all these teams had a disaster. Oklahoma had a disaster at home against a 31-point underdog. Okay. So, again, Alabama got ramrodded, got run off the field by Auburn. So isn't that the equivalent of what happened to Ohio State?
55.
Yeah. Okay.
55. That's what they gave up, 55 points.
I was a good football team.
Oh, not a good football. So Auburn's some trash.
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
And Auburn would have probably beaten Georgia if Kerryon Johnson had been healthy, and he was not, and if they still had Petway, and they did not.
If you don't mind me asking, Skip, do you remember what happened last year when the Big Ten champion, which was Penn State, didn't get selected to play in the college football playoff? Who got in? Ohio State. What happened to Ohio State when they played Clemson?
It's this year we are talking about, not last year. All I can do is watch what happens this year, and my eye test screamed to me that Ohio State's a better football team than Alabama. Now back to the Clemson game. I am stunned that somehow Alabama is a 3.5-point favorite, and that was your opening line, because I think you're at least surprised at that.
I'm shocked.
Okay? Because I watched Clemson a lot this year, and obviously I think the point spread is screaming no Deshaun Watson.
Right.
Well, obviously Kelly Bryant is not Deshaun Watson. And obviously I think Jalen Hurts is a little better. He's certainly a better thrower than Kelly Bryant. But have you checked out the rest of the Clemson Tigers? Have you checked off offensive line, defensive line? If this is a battle of the trenches, which I think it will be, Clemson's just better than Alabama in both trenches, in both lines. I'm sorry, they are loaded with NFL prospects on both sides. And Dabo Swinney isn't just a good coach. I think he's becoming a great coach.
Yes.
And I think he's becoming a great big game coach. And Kelly Bryant isn't exactly chopped liver, because he completed 67% of his passes. He was only 13 touchdowns, but only 6 interceptions. So he doesn't make that many mistakes. And he can run the rock, man. He had 11 rushing touchdowns, and they have kind of a three-headed monster of Etienne and Feaster and Kelly Bryant, and they just keep slamming it at you behind that offensive line. Those three together average 163 yards rushing a game. And so now they're going to try to beat Alabama at its own game. This should be on a silver platter for Alabama. This is what they love.
Yeah.
When they get spread out, they can get torched by somebody who can actually throw the football. So Kelly Bryant's a decent passer, but he's not these passers.
He's not Deshaun.
No, he's not Deshaun.
He's not Chad Kelly. He's not any of those.
He's not Trevor Knight even, and Trevor Knight's not that good. But ain't Nick's defense has gotten torched by people who can throw the football
and move.
Okay, and move. So Kelly Bryant can move. He's 6'4", 220, but he's mobile.
Yes.
But is he a mobile thrower? No, he's not a mobile thrower. So again, this is not going to be 45-40, which was 2 years ago. Alabama won that one. It's not going to be 35-31 a year ago. Deshaun Watson won that one. Deshaun Watson in those two games had almost 1,000 total yards. Just shocking to me, which is why the Cleveland Browns should have taken him first overall. And yet, this is going to be made for Alabama. This is going to be a headbanger. This is going to be a blood and guts game. This is going to be ground and pound. This is going to be who is the more physical football team? Which team will impose its will on the other team in the offensive line and in the defensive line? And it should be made to order for Alabama. And I think Clemson's just better than Alabama. I think they have more pro prospects. I know Alabama got decimated by injuries, and maybe this, so whatever it's been, like 30. A month off. It should get them somewhat healthier. But the point is, even when they were healthy, I didn't see them better than Clemson. And I'm shocked that it's 3.5. We'll see about that. I'll take those 3.5.
I mean, if you look at that, Skip, even before the selection, we knew who was going to be in the college football playoff. Alabama was favored over every team that could possibly be in it. They were favored over Georgia. They were favored over Oklahoma. They were favored over Clemson, or whomever could have possibly been in the playoffs. The odds makers thought Bama was that good. I'm surprised. I really am, because we don't see, first of all, defensively, Skip, they don't have the rotational defensive linemen, because year after, guys foregoing their senior year, they're redshirt juniors, they're foregoing all that, getting to the NFL, they don't have the depth that they once had. And now injuries has taken its toll on its linebacker core. I think secondary-wise, they're not. Minka Fitzpatrick is the real deal. He looks like but there have been a lot of Alabama corners that look like the real deal in college later to get to the NFL, and we see they're not what they appear to be. I agree with you, Skip. I'm surprised that Bama's a 3-point favorite. I just didn't see it, because I thought Clemson, watching them play, they look like the best team. Defensively, their front seven is as good as anybody's in the country. Everybody talks about Ohio State, but Clemson's front seven, Skip, they can get after your quarterback.
Well, before
Alabama.
we move on, what is your score?
Reputation.
Stop it,
They're
Skip.
living on reputation. I'm going to give you Minka Fitzpatrick. He's legit. Okay. He's going to be a big-time pro football player. Okay. So he's their Richard Sherman, and I guess I could give you that Jalen Hurts is kind of their Russell Wilson. And after that, I think their fate's going to be what Seattle's fate was.
Scarborough. They still got Big Bo. You know, Clemson really started to get going once Big Bo went out of the ball game. Hopefully he can last the whole ball game.
I haven't seen Big Bo run big.
But Harris has been the guy.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. I'm going to go Clemson in a lower scoring game, 21-17. Thank you very much. But I have a caveat to get us to our next topic. I am rooting like mad for Alabama to win this game. My head tells me Clemson. My heart wants Alabama because I want Baker Mayfield to be able to plant his flag on Ain't Nick's defense in the championship game.
He's sick.
I can't wait.
Baker Mayfield sick.
Yeah, he's sick.
He had practice all week. I mean, he got avian bird flu. I mean, he got.
Have you seen him play? He is sick, all right. He is about the sickest player in college football.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.